Hello again to all who are listening, if it's anyone. It's another end of the year list here. We had to do it. This is probably personally my favorite episode that I look forward to every year. I'm a big albums guy. I love listening to new stuff that I haven't heard before, new artists top to bottom. So ultimately, really excited for this albums of the year category. How are you feeling about your list?
Dude, this one gives me so much anxiety. Because not only do I procrastinate on accident at the end of the year to do all of this, but I don't know if this is how I truly feel. But this is just what it is. And now it'll be on the internet forever. Mm-hmm. So, get a little anxious.
Yeah, as you should.
But I'm not mad.
Okay.
Question mark.
Okay, we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah.
I will say, I kind of make a running list throughout the year, and then towards the end of the year, go back through the whole list in order, back to back to back to back, and see if it is how I feel. This is the first time since I've started doing that, which has been a few years now, where it's completely different than what I initially had it as.
Wow.
So, with that note,
let's get into it.
I went first for songs. Why don't you start us off here? Run through your honorable mentions, and then I'll give my honorable mentions.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
I will give an honorable mention to JPEG Raw, Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah.
I did think it was a solid album. New for me. That's not my genre, but I did really enjoy it. Couple times where I came back to it.
Yeah.
And then another one, I'll shout out Don Toliver.
Yeah.
The main reason it didn't make my list is, once again, it's just not exactly my music. I'm not coming back to that.
Sure.
But I appreciate and did think it was a great album. Just I'm not coming back.
Not for you particularly.
Now, there's a mixture between this. It's what I enjoy and what I think is genuinely like solid album of the year. A little bit of mixture. So I try to keep that in mind when anyways. At number 10.
Oh, well, hold on. I got to give my honorable mentions.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
My fault, go.
Because we got to build suspense.
You're right.
Whoa.
My fault.
All right.
My fault.
Honorable mentions for me. I'm not as good as you. I couldn't narrow it down that far to just a couple.
Well, there's more on this list. I just don't care to actually
say
anyone else.
One that was really high on my list, and this last listen through dropped down to an honorable mention.
Oh, wow.
Vista, Childish Gambino.
Wow.
Womp womp. Still really like it. A lot of great tracks. Was very, very close to being incorporated in there.
Yeah.
But ultimately just not one of my 10 favorites.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce. As a artistic album, I think what she did was very interesting, very cool. Kind of taking the idea of the Renaissance album, bringing going in a dance direction, but then doing something more country.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Reason it's not higher is it's like an hour and some odd minutes long, and there's a handful, and by a handful I mean a handful of tracks that aren't for me personally.
Yeah.
But a lot of great stuff on there. Another one, not one of my favorites on the year, but one that I played a lot early on in the year, American Dream, 21 Savage, really solid.
Yeah.
Different direction here, a little bit of alternative stuff. Loss of Life by MGMT was really interesting. Hearing their maturation from what I initially was exposed to that duo as early in their careers to hearing them doing something more mature and sophisticated and thought-provoking now was really interesting.
Yeah.
Opposite of that, but a lot of fun, just not personally my style of music. Brat, Charlie XCX, was a lot of fun to listen to the production there and the kind of just, I want to say like droning, just like the way it was just like such mindless club style fun. Anyways, enjoyed it. Not personally my favorite though. And then I have Blue Lips, Schoolboy Q. Not the biggest personally on the West Coast sound as far as the style on this project. I do have personal Schoolboy Q albums that I prefer over this one. But still, great performances on there. The production is really, really fun.
Yeah.
And then Chromacopia, Tyler the Creator, is another honorable mention for me. So
yeah, you're much more thoughtful than than I am. But I just didn't care.
Sure.
Still anxious about this. Now is where we find out if you hate me or if you don't, or if I'm canceled in your eyes or if I'm not. So shall we?
no, don't say it.
At number 10, we got Dark Times, Vince Staples.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
Just because initially when you made a video earlier this year, you had it number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate it, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm curious to see where this.
I think I was overly hyped on the album.
Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah, sure.
But I think at the time I was overly hyped.
Yeah.
I was like, this is dope.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's like I've listened to Vince. He has some solid stuff, but it hasn't been like where I'm like, oh, okay, like let me keep coming back to this. But like this one, I was like, I was in it.
Yeah.
Kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
By a little bit. To 10. Still made the list.
Okay.
But I did enjoy it.
Sure.
At number 9, I don't know where your list is now, but you might disagree with me.
Okay.
Everybody Can't Go,
Yeah.
Benny the Butcher.
Okay.
I appreciate the style. I love the production. Some of the features are solid.
Yeah.
There's just something about him vocally where I don't enjoy it as much. I think lyrically he could. I genuinely think it might just be the vocals or maybe it's the flow.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why it's not higher.
Okay.
But I appreciate
Fair enough.
Literally everything else.
Yeah, fair enough.
At number 8.
It depends on what you have above it.
You might hate me for one then. You might. This is a very random list.
Okay.
It's very random.
Okay.
At number 8, we're getting a little high, aren't we?
Okay.
Ada Vista, Childish Gambino.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I enjoyed that one a little bit more than I did New World.
Yeah.
Yep. Granted, like I said, I like it as a concept. I think that one does better.
Yeah.
But I think song-wise, Ada Vista, I just enjoy a little bit more.
Can't hate it.
This is the one where being over Benny. I don't know what it was. Anyway, Sacred Heart 2, DC the Dawn.
Okay.
It was just a cool project. I'm not huge on DC the Dawn, but this one I was like vibing out a lot more to it. I like the production a lot on this one. It was just a change of pace than my usual West Coast rappers or
Sure.
whatever else.
Yeah.
Dude, we're getting to 6.
Getting up there.
At number 6, it's crazy that it's at this point. But, hear me out. Alligator Bites Don't Heal.
Yeah.
Dude, it's that good.
It is.
It's that good. Yep. Heard it once. I will be coming back to that album a lot more in the future.
Yeah, it's good.
It really is. Yeah. I told you off podcast that I love and appreciate that she's actually rapping. Yeah. I have gripes with female artists that the only thing that they have going on for them is talking about how they can get any guy and they talk about their body.
Yeah.
Rap. Tell me a cool story. Like, that's why I appreciate the male artists. It's not because there's like flexing watches and I'm a billionaire. No, I don't care about that stuff either. Tell me a good story, like wordplay. Like, I don't care. She does that. Yeah. She kills it in all aspects. The production was cool. I like her little talking breaks, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Super cool.
Yeah.
We're in the top 5.
Top 5.
And I haven't said it. I haven't said it yet.
Yeah. I think you're just yanking my chain.
I am yanking your chain. It's not in there.
Okay.
The Death of Slim Shady is not in my top 10. That's what I was going on about.
It was stressful for a while there because J-Mag, it was pretty high on this album earlier this year.
Yeah. I
was.
Anyways. Yeah. Number 5. I'll continue to yell at the top of the mountain. The Honeymoon Phase, Kenya Vaughn.
Okay.
It was that good to me. I still come back to it, and
Sure.
I found that album in March, April.
Yeah.
I could listen to the album on repeat on an any day basis.
Yeah.
She's that good.
Yeah.
And number 4, we have Might Delete Later, J. Cole. Do I think that I understand that seems a little high.
4?
Yeah.
Over Alligator Bites?
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. A little bit anxious, and that's why I put the question mark at the end of what I said, because I'm not fully sure about what I'm saying.
I might have it top 25, maybe.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I come back to the project a lot, and that's where some of the enjoyment comes.
It's your list.
Honestly, hey, one disagreement so far. I'll take the one. I don't even care. At number 3, we got F1 Trillion. Post Malone. Post Malone absolutely kills it.
Yeah.
Is it your typical country? No. He adds his pop flair at times. But to get that many country artists all together, right? Like, incredible feat in itself.
Yeah.
It's not trash music. You can play this album anytime.
Yeah.
You can click shuffle at any time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great album.
Yep.
At number 2, I have G and X.
I don't knock it.
We've talked about it enough.
Yep.
It's that good.
Yep.
Number 1, it's one that resonated with me. I love it to death. It's beautifully broken. I feel like that wasn't a surprise to many people if you watch. I've been very high on that horse.
Yeah.
I love it lyrically. Is it super like in depth and like lyrically like super impressive? No.
Yeah.
But it's the heartfelt messages, it's the vulnerability, it's I think he kills it vocally. The feature choices are pretty cool, minus couple here and there. I could have went without MGK and Russ, and I can. There's a couple.
Lonely roads, lonely roads.
It's a pretty bad song. But despite all that, I can listen to that album start to finish every day.
Wow.
That's how I'm on it. Yeah. I'll still do it to this day. So,
and that's
my list.
That's your list.
Yeah.
And it's your list. That is J Mac's list. I'm quite a bit different here, but that's okay. That's what music's for. That's the reason we do these.
Right.
To be frank, and then I'll be writer again. To be frank, I did have another honorable mention, and that was F1 Trillion. I missed it in my notes here. If this list was only albums that I personally enjoyed, it'd be right up there near the top. What I consider in my list is a combination of how much, how good is the album in terms of artistry, as well as how much I enjoyment. And so that one's really, really high on the enjoyment factor for me, not too high on the artistry factor, because I don't feel like he was doing too much crazy stuff on there.
Valid.
But like I said, it was my most played album of the year, and so I love it to death. But it's not in my top 10 for the artistry reason, particularly.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
I was not expecting.
Yeah, but to jump more forward just a little bit more, my number 10. It was an honorable mention for you, a little higher for me, because I do enjoy that style of music. Heartstone Psycho, Don Toliver.
Yeah.
Production is crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of hits on there for me that I come back to. Tore Up, Purple Rain, Kryptonite, Heartstone National Anthem, Geeked Up.
Pop Off.
There's so many hits that I just am like, yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Moving forward, an album that I really appreciate its concept and artistry, the writing. Probably one of the most disrespected rappers in terms of like how much they can spit. Lupe Fiasco with Samurai. The concept takes it to another level, but in and of itself, the album has so many songs that I listen to and I'm just like, this is so well written and thought provoking that I just enjoy it. I enjoy the production side of this album particularly as well. Moving up, I have it a bit lower than you, but it is Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. Best female rap project I've heard in 10, if not 20 years.
that.
The last one that I would probably say rivals it personally is Pink Friday, the original by Nicki, because there are a lot of hits on that one that I enjoy. But yeah, overall, it's so well done. Really excited for what else is to come from her career. Moving forward, an album that has a lot of replay value for me. The soundscapes are just amazing. And I also feel like it's so artistic and genre bending and different than what I normally listen to. Bad Cameo, James Blake and Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
Going up, it's a little low, but I have my gripes. It's GNX by Kendrick Lamar in the 6th spot.
Wow.
Truthfully, like I have a lot of respect for the West Coast sound. I like a lot of West Coast style rap. I love the fact that he shined a light on some LA rappers, and gave them a chance to pop off, and like make them globally known artists with his platform.
Yeah.
But man, there are just some of them that are not for me personally.
Valid. Yeah.
When I tell you I've never finished TV Off since the first time listening through, I've never finished TV Off since the first time listening through. I love Dodie Six's feature on Hey Now. Yeah. I really like that one. SZA is a great feature as well. But there's just a lot of it's not for me personally. It's not, I don't mean any disrespect to those artists, but that's why it's not higher. There's just a chunk of that album that I don't personally come back to. Here's my Might Delete Later version, or my version of Might Delete Later off your list.
This is number 5.
Number 5, We Don't Trust You, Future and Metro Boomin. The hits on this album are so nuts to me. I can come back to Young Metro like that, Everyday Hustle, type stuff. Like there's just so many songs on there that I've never heard Future top to bottom on an album where I'm like, wow, he performed really great top to bottom. At least in my view, on an album like that.
Yeah.
There's moments in his career where I'm like, holy crap, this is a nuts Future song.
Yeah.
But I listened through a project, and even some of my favorite projects of his, I'm like, okay, this is a boring stretch. But on this one, I felt like it was his most consistent. I felt like Metro really did something crazy with the beats. So for that reason, I like it a lot. I understand why you don't.
Yeah.
Different vibes, and it's okay.
Right.
But that's why it's up there for me.
Fair.
I went a little higher with these ones, but I have Everybody Can't Go by Benny the Butcher at the 4th spot.
I knew you would. Yeah. I knew how much you liked that one.
It's really solid. One of the most underrated projects to me this year. One of the most underrated artists for me. To me, it felt like a blend as if you took like early 50 Cent, like 2005 to 2012 Jay-Z and Pusha T and like made an album out of that stylistically, and it was fantastic in my view. I love the production. I love the bars. Great features across the board there. Overall, an album I really enjoyed. 3 spot, that's where I have Dark Times by Vince Staples.
Wow.
The storytelling's great. The vibe of the album is really... It's one of those ones that... It's not like F1 Trillion where you can put it on any time, but it's one of those albums that's relatable in like in like an interesting way, and in a fun, but like in a way that I feel like I can come back to it a lot. Yeah. Like Mr. Morale got some relatable content, but like in a way I'm like, I don't really always want to listen to it that way. Like, but Vince Staples, the way he lays things out is it's like, this is what it is. It's black and white. Here's the truth. Here's how I'm feeling. And it is what it is. Yeah. As opposed to like, I don't feel like I'm scared.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But anyways, I liked it a lot because of that. Moving up, surprises here for my first 2 for me personally. Did not think they were going to be this high until the very most recent times listening through them. The number 2 spot. Bando Stone in the New World.
Wow.
Childish Gambino.
Whoa.
I was blown away. It wasn't even it was on my top 10 radar, but it wasn't in like my definite picks until I went through it. I had some gripes when I went through this album. I felt like it was a little all over the place. I felt like it wasn't ever his best performances in any aspect that he brought to the table.
Yeah.
Went back and I totally disagree with myself. I think the artistry is insane. Wow. I think the production's insane. I think the vocals are great. Some of his best rapping in the last several years. The way he ties the album together with the story, like you're saying, is so cool. I have so much love for this album now in a way that I just didn't. Like, it makes me sad looking back and being like, man, we reviewed this thing in like July and I'm just getting back into like the meat of it, enjoying it.
Yeah.
Anyways, love that album.
That's crazy.
But number one, big surprise for me personally. I had it on my list the whole year, didn't have it this high. I Lay Down My Life for You, JPEG Mafia.
Wow.
It was my personal pick for best album of the year. The rapping is great. The production is great. Early last year, I wasn't really big into his music. I'd heard a couple things from him. Was interested, skimmed through it a little bit. I was like, okay, I get the appeal. Not really for me personally, though.
Yeah.
It's a little rough around the edges. Scaring the Hose came out. I was like, very cool, very interesting. Still had some complaints about it. This one I went to it, and I was just like, man, he finally did it for me personally, where it's like so well-rounded and completed that I was like, man, this is really cool, really interesting. The metal, the instrumentals. We've been talking so much music today. I don't remember when it was brought up, but we talking about the guitar riffs, where like half the time when hip hop artists put guitars in their albums, and you're like, okay, who cooked this up on GarageBand? No, this one's just like, holy crap, this is insane. Like great rock instrumentals, great samples. Starting an album off by saying that if you were in the NBA, you'd be Dylan Brooks, but worse is crazy.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny.
That's so funny.
But yeah, loved his lyrical content on it, and loved the way he just molded and bended genres together there. I will say it doesn't have the most replay value for me personally, because it's not one of them ones that you can like, Sunday walk home from church, let's throw on I scream this in the mirror before I interact with anybody. You can't really do that, but you get in the gym and you're like, okay, let's go. Need a little hard rock rap?
It's time.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my personal pick. But yeah, I feel like,
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I wasn't either, to be honest with you, until this last week when I listened through these all again. So
honestly, looking back, I don't think I even had a guess for your number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
for a long time it was the Benny the Butcher album. For a long time I thought it was going to be that one, and until
I thought it'd stay up there. Mm-hmm. I didn't think you'd go number one. I just thought it would at least stay up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I think that wraps up albums.
Oh, hallelujah.
Until next year when we do some more album stuff.
Be better about it next year.
Yeah, drop us a comment. Let us know what albums you enjoyed. Let J-Mac know if he's crazy for liking Might Delete Later that much. Let me know if I'm crazy for liking We Don't Trust You that much.
I might have figured it out. When I was going through, I was trying to find a number 4 spot, and then like I would think of an album and add it at 10 and see if I wanted to keep it there. And it just kept going up because I kept deleting numbers. And so Might Delete Labor. Oh my gosh. Might
Delete Neighbors.
Yeah. Shout out. It just kept going up.
Yeah.
So I don't think I actually... Something happened. That's the only one.
To be fair, though, you've been talking about it a lot all year, so...
Yeah, but mainly like 3 songs. So like that's where I'm
I'm
confused.
Only like 8 songs.
You have a point. I don't know.
Anyway,
we're into the next year. It's in the best.
Yep, it's in the best. Next week, awards episode is coming out. We hope you all have a fantastic Christmas for those who celebrate.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Yep.
Farewell.
Go get some bacon.